You are so excited about buying your next home. You're spending so much time online scrolling, saving, comparing, taking notes, thinking it all through. And here in the Sarasota area, we have a lot of new construction. So of course, that is a huge pull. People just think, well, it's new, right? So if it's new, that means it's better. But I will say there is something to say about resale homes as well. So not all that glitters is gold. So in today's video, I want to help you out by comparing and contrasting some of the differences between new construction and resale. Hi, I'm Jill Thomas. I'm a real estate agent here in the Sarasota area. We're nestled on the west coast of Florida, just south of Tampa. And each week I bring videos about real estate in this area and what it's like to live in the Sunshine State. So if you think that this channel might be a help to you, maybe you're thinking of coming or going, you've got some real estate needs in this area, then if you would, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and keep watching. But then when you have questions, when you need some really specific help, you're ready to take that next step, then please reach out to me. Call, text, email. I'm here to help you out as you navigate these waters. Looking at homes can definitely be overwhelming. It can be information overload, with everything online. It's just, you can just dig in and look at so much, and it can be really overwhelming. So when I'm working with buyers, really a big step is to really kind of narrow things down a bit, whether it's by community, type of properties, and then something like this, the difference between new construction and resale. So here are a handful of things for you to think about as you're trying to narrow this aspect down. Number one is timing. And this is really a huge aspect for a lot of people, because with resale, you really can know for sure when you're going to close. It's something that's negotiated between the buyer and the seller. And unless there's some little hiccup, every so often there's something that will come up that can delay closing, but otherwise you're closing on time. And so you can have peace of mind of knowing this is our closing date. But now with new construction, that's a different animal, because they'll say, okay, yep, we're going to close sometime between July and August. And then as we're getting into, or even June to August, usually it's a wider window than that. So you approach June, you think, okay, we're closing this month, and then July, and then August, and sometimes you're not closing till November. You have no control over it. And even with an inventory home or a spec home where the property's already being started, and again, that builder will give you maybe a smaller window, maybe just a month or two, and say, yep, this is when we're going to close. It can still be months after that. And so you have no control over that time frame, and you really have to prepare and prep yourself for maybe a transitional housing phase. So that's one big difference between new construction and resale, is the timing. Now, every so often we will come across a home in a community that is already completed, and you can close, let's say, in 30, 40 days, depending on your financing. But otherwise, that really is the exception. That's not a norm at all. But every so often we'll find that. Number two, condition of the home. Now, I think this is the most obvious. This is probably the first thing people think about when they are considering resale versus new construction. So of course, with resale, the home can run a wide spectrum on what the condition is like. It could be something as extreme as the house is really a candidate for a tear down. That's really the highest and best use of that property, and it's really lot value, all the way to the home is really lovely and minimal issues. It's in great shape. Now, of course, with the resale, it is imperative that you have an inspection done, but not all inspectors can find everything. Maybe they don't, maybe they're just not a great inspector, or maybe it's just impossible, because it's one thing when they're running water for a few minutes and flushing some toilets for, while they're at the property for an hour or two or three. And then it's another thing when people are living in it and they're running lots of water, or they're really running the air conditioning hard during the summertime. So some inspectors just can't find everything during that time frame. So you have to keep that in mind. And of course, when I talk about condition of the home, you've got one set of ideas, whether it's like the electric, plumbing, roof, air conditioner, and then of course the updates to the home. Some properties are just beautiful and lovely, and some haven't been updated for a long time. And for a lot of people, that's okay. They don't mind, because they want to put their own fingerprint on the house, or they don't want somebody else's choices. But sometimes we'll get sellers where I'll talk to them on the phone before I see the property, before I list it, and they'll say, oh no, Jill, it's beautiful. I updated it. I spent all this money on it. And they'll go and look at it, and it's no, not too updated. Well, they probably did spend good money on those updates, but it was 20 years ago. and maybe they've owned the place for 30 years. So, that's very subjective. So there's some things about the condition of the home that are a bit more subjective and some things that are more objective. Now with new construction, people think, okay, but new construction, everything's going to be done. It's going to be perfect. I'm going to be delivered a perfect house at closing. And I get it. But in the last few years, between lack of help and lack of materials and waiting all that, and then of course high demand, there's so much new construction, builders are not delivering a completed or perfect house to buyers at closing. There's typically something called an exceptions list where both seller/builder and buyer realize that these things still need to be completed, and they sign a document, and those things are going to be done after closing. Now I've talked to some buyers and they say, I just won't close. I refuse to close. But here's the thing, the way the contract's written, it favors the seller, it favors the builder, and as long as that CO, the certificate of occupancy, is on that house, you're closing. It's very difficult to postpone it or get out of it without it costing you more money. So keep that in mind. The other thing too is I also recommend to buyers is to have an inspection done. Have an outside inspector come in and take a look at the house. Now builders will say, oh, well, we have third-party inspectors come in, but I just always recommend that you have an outside person come in who represents you that's looking for things. Now, here's the challenge with that. Unlike resale, is when do you actually do it? There's usually 2 times that you would have an inspection done: pre-drywall, before the drywall goes up and things are covered, and then right before closing. But like I said before, things aren't always complete even at closing. So getting that timing just right on when to have as much completed as possible for the inspectors to look at, and then not having really a completed home at all, because otherwise that list is going to be a mile long. Right now, I've been dealing with a builder. I've got somebody who's closing in a couple of weeks on new construction. We want to have an inspection done, not too close to closing, not too far away, but there's no power at the house yet. So I have an inspection lined up, but I'm going to have to move it. But I'm waiting to find out when is the house actually going to have power. So there's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of struggles. There's a little bit of a dilemma with all that. But please note, just because it's new construction, the house is still not going to be perfect like you would think it would be. So it's just the way it is today. So sorry to say. So condition of home, big difference between new construction and resale. That's number 2. Number 3, style. So styles of homes, of course, change all the time. And this sort of gels in with number 2 when I was talking about the updates and everything. But even what was like, so of course today the style is super open floor plan. You walk in and it's like one big great room, kitchen, dining room, living room. Very, very typical. Even from 20 years ago, there's a few more walls in a home. Things are sectioned off a bit more. I mean, some areas are a bit open, some are sectioned off. And then of course, it seems like the older you go, the more sectioned off everything is. It's less open. But here's another thing too with the style of homes, new construction compared to resale. With new construction these days, these builders are trying to jam as many homes into a community as possible. And of course, they want to give as many people, as many home sites, really great views, whether it's a preserve or a water view. So as a result, they make the lots really long and narrow. And so the homes are going to be long and narrow. And that's a different style for the home as well. If you look at older homes you walk in, they feel more wide, maybe a little bit more spacious. And with new homes, they tend to be more narrow. Now, there are some builders that do build homes that are a bit more wide. They usually, if you watched any of my other videos with new construction, they name like different types of homes. And so more of the estate style homes are going to be wider. They're going to be on wider lots. So you do have that nicer feel, but of course you're going to pay for it as well. So if you're only looking to pay $500,000-$600,000 for a house, you're not going to get an estate home at that price point when you go to close. So keep that in mind too, that the styles are really different with new construction today as homes were even 15, 20, 25 years ago. Number 4, upgrades. So when people are doing new construction, they get so excited because they think, oh, I can pick out everything myself. It's going to be perfect. All my colors, my cabinets, countertops, floors. It's going to be exactly the way I want. Often I hear people tell me, oh, in the past, we have done so much work on homes. I'm so tired of living in a mess, making it my own. And so it's definitely just a huge appeal with this new construction. But there's a couple things. First of all, those add up quick. When you're not doing it yourself or hiring it out yourself, you're paying top dollar for the builder to do it. Second of all, right now, a lot of builders are only offering inventory or spec homes, and they're going to pre-choose all of those things. So if you find a builder you like and a community you like, a lot and a floor plan you like, we got to find out if the inside materials are what you like as well. So it might not always work out the way you thought it will. So if you can't find a resale home with nice upgrades that match pretty close to your taste, it's probably going to be more economical for you to go that route than go new construction. Number 5, lot size. Okay, I already mentioned this a bit already, but the lot sizes on new construction are so different than many resale homes. Right now, a lot of the new construction lots are long and narrow, and if you can find an older home you like, usually the lot's going to be bigger and going to be more wide. Now, of course, there's exceptions to all these rules. There's some builders right now I know in Lakewood Ranch, they're going to be breaking ground soon, and the lots are going to be like an acre or more, but a lot of them are going to be small. With new construction right now, it's not unusual if a lot is 5, 6, 7,000 square feet with even a substantial size home on it, and there's very little space between you and your neighbors. So the older homes typically, not always, have larger lots, wider lots. So you want to keep that in mind too when you're comparing the two. It's not unusual for me to have somebody say to me, Jill, I want new construction. I want this, 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 and this, and this. And I also want a big lot. I don't want to be right next to my neighbors. Sadly, you're not going to get that, especially if you're, paying $5, $6, $7, $800,000, even $1 million plus for the home. Very few builders have large lots. Number 6, the price. Okay, honestly, you really do need to know what's going on, what the real estate market is like in the areas that you're most interested in. And when I say the areas, I'm not just talking about Sarasota as a whole, Sarasota County. We have so many different submarkets. So what's going on with real estate west of the trail could be different than east of I-75 compared to Venice, compared to Lakewood Ranch. There are so many variables involved. So if you think that you can start to narrow down a bit more what areas you like the most, then we can start to look at what's the difference in pricing between new construction and resale in some of these areas. And so if your time frame, because we talked about the timing, that was our first point. If your timing allows, then maybe new construction's a better way for you to go. Other times, if you're very price conscientious, then resale might be the better route for you. Number 7, the contracts. Generally speaking, the contracts for new construction definitely favor the seller or the builder. They do not favor the buyer at all. There's no balance to it. With resale, there's typically a little bit more balance. Now, up to about 6-9 months ago, those contracts actually favored the sellers more as well for resale. But in most markets, most of the time, it's pretty balanced, and a buyer can feel good that, okay, yep, the seller needs certain reassurances and certain benefits, but I know I am being covered as well, and the contract is looking out for me also. But with new construction, those contracts definitely favor the builder more than the buyer. Number 8, comparing two homes. Okay, now we're going to put this into practice. I'm going to show you a couple of homes that have recently sold for the same amount of money. One's a resale and one is new construction. So I'll do the best I can with the videos and pictures with the new construction. That's a little bit harder, but I always really enjoy going through this process with buyers when they come into town and start to look at homes, even if they're not going to buy on this trip. I'll say, let's go out, let's just look at a sampling, 2, 3, 4 homes so we can go through together. And I want to point some things out to you that's going to help you, because then when you go back home and you're looking at properties online, it's going to help your perspective. It's going to help you look at it with a more critical eye, look at things differently than maybe what you were before. So that's why I like doing some of these videos with you and pulling up pictures of homes that have sold so I can point some things out to you. And I think that can be a really big help. So now let's look at 2 homes, a resale and a new construction. Here is the example of a resale home I wanted to show you. This house sold in November of 2022 for $685,000. It is located in Lakewood Ranch and it was built in 1998. So this house is 25 years old. It's 3 bedrooms with a den, 2 full baths. It's just over 2,100 square feet. And it has a swimming pool, which I did not mention before. But right now, it's really difficult to get a pool with new construction. A lot of builders are not doing that anymore because of the time that it takes to have that installed. And so as a result, we just don't see that a whole lot. Let's see. Let's just jump in and start looking at the photos here. So first of all, this roof is new. This was recently redone, so that's a good thing. But look at this beautiful view. It's a gorgeous lot. The lot, if I hadn't mentioned already, it's just over 10,000 square feet. It's almost a quarter of an acre. Now, these first few pictures, I'm just going to kind of zip through because there's a lot of exterior photos, but you can see there's mature trees. It's really beautiful. Now we're inside the home. And as I mentioned before, some of these things are going to be taste specific. So what might be okay to you will not be okay to somebody else, and the other way around. But I'm just going to talk about things about this property, and you can pull away from it whatever you'd like. Okay. So the flooring, there's no carpet in this house right now. You're going to see that there is tile on the diagonal. So back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that was really popular. A lot of builders these days do not offer this even as an option. There might be some, but it just isn't something that's chosen a whole lot. Now you're going to see that the house is opened up, but not open. For some people, there's too many walls in this house. For other people, it's just right. You're going to see all these little arches and niches and things like that. Super popular at this time, at the time this home was built. So this was a really big deal for this home. It's a Lee Weatherington home, which is quality builder. It's higher end. So you can see living room, dining room, crown molding. Although I was interested to see that the baseboard was this wood color. It's not white. Now we're into the family room. And you can see there's high ceilings throughout. So again, that's really nice when we're comparing something like this, a resale, to new construction. It's kind of funny. Let me go back one more photo. A little bit of laminate flooring here, and then we've got the tiles. So for whatever reason, they sectioned this off. Now we're looking at the kitchen. You can tell that these cabinets were probably original to 1998. Something that's different today that they do with these countertops. Actually, I'm kind of surprised to see this one down a little bit lower. Usually it's all lower. Doesn't pop up. It's not elevated anymore in the back. They don't do that. And here's a desk inside the kitchen. You don't see that anymore with new construction. Some people love having those desks in the kitchen still. Some people don't care for it. So to each his own. This is a gas community, as you can see, with the oven. So, you can tell that the house is open. It's not all the way open like you see today. This beautiful aquarium window, they don't do those anymore either. But man, look at that view. How wonderful. And you can see that from the kitchen as well. We're back to the living room and dining room. Okay, now we're in an office. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of zip through some of these pictures. Our owner's bedroom, the owner's suite. But look at that. That's a sweet view from that suite, right? Okay. All right, now we're in the bathroom. Walk-in shower, soaking tub. All right, for whatever reason, these pictures are a little bit out of order. And then here's dual sinks. But you can tell these cabinets, they're not a current style. They're just that pressboard, laminate type stuff. But you can also tell from the photos, I can tell that the house is squeaky clean. I'm sure if we went in there when this house was listed, it would just, you come out feeling really good about it. You can tell the people really maintained it. Now look at this. You can tell this room is staged. This is virtually staged, meaning the furniture doesn't really exist. These are just images. See, empty. Laundry room. Okay, so again, we're talking about upgrades. We want to compare the resale to new construction. Having all of these cabinets in here, having that sink in the laundry room, those are huge upgrades. You pay a lot of money for that. Sometimes I'm pretty startled when I hear those numbers from new construction, and all the builders are a little different on how much they might charge for this, but to have this package here, having these cabinets and the sink might cost a couple $1,000s. Whereas if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy some of the box cabinets and have a handyman install those, it's not going to cost you $2,000, I wouldn't think, or $3,000. I don't know. Sometimes these numbers are just huge in my mind. But now look at that view. How beautiful is this? Nice large lanai, nice tall cage. I love that. Beautiful. Look how sparkling the water is, so blue. And so you can see when you're trying to figure out space, look at how much furniture is here. So we've got 2 shades lounges, we've got 2 little side chairs and a table, and then this hot tub. So the space is humongous over here. That's awesome. More privacy. There's another photo I really want to show you guys. Here we go. Look at this house. You can tell the home has been rotated a bit, so you have a little bit more privacy, so you're looking more this way. But look at water, greenery, grass, or, green grass here, and then the trees, more water, a small road, more trees. That's huge. That's so private. And then there's another photo you'll see in a second here. Look at, so here's some trees and then another house. This is an awesome lot. If you were to buy this lot today from Lee Wetherington, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a couple $100,000. So to pay $685 for a home with this kind of lot right now compared to new construction is a screaming deal. Now, of course, like I said before, the style of the home, the taste of the home might not be your style and your taste, but when you want to look at value, these are the kinds of things you want to compare and contrast to take a look at that. And again, this is the home right here. Look at beautiful. And there's some more exterior pictures. So there we are back to the beginning. And like I said before, new roof. So that's huge as well. Let's see, HOA dues, $119 for the year in Summerfield Village of Lakewood Ranch for this particular house. CDD fees are $1,400 a year you pay with your property taxes. So the carrying costs for Lakewood Ranch are actually quite reasonable. It's not too bad at all. But yeah, beautiful home for the money. I think this was a great purchase for these new owners. Here is our new construction home I want to show you, and I don't have as many pictures, so this section will not be quite as long as the last one, but this is a Neal home, Neal Communities, great builder here in our area in the Indigo neighborhood. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a den. It's about the same size, 2181 square feet. This one closed last October for $684,331. So just hundreds of dollars, just a few $100s less than the other one. But here there's no swimming pool at all. This home still is in a flood zone. The HOA dues in this community are higher. It's $275 a month, where the other one was less than that for the year, but there are amenities in this community. And then the CDD fees are $1,400 a year, so very similar to the last house I showed you. Now this lot though is much smaller. It's about 7,200 square feet or 0.17 of an acre. This does say private pool, but I suspect that was entered incorrectly because I don't think Neal does private pools. Well, maybe they do. Yeah, I bet they do. I bet this was a private pool, so I take it back. I was thinking this did not have a pool, but that's okay. It's still a very good comparison for you to understand the differences. So this has a pool, as does the other one. So really the big deal is with this is that the lot is a lot smaller. Now, I don't know exactly what features or what color cabinets or anything like that the homeowner chose on this, so we can't see that at all. The only way to see that eventually is when it's a resale, but then it defeats the purpose of what we're doing here. But I want to show you the lot. I don't have like an awesome view of it, but I can pull it up on the map here. So let's take a little look. And of course, my face goes away when I do that. So we're going to zoom in on this and you're going to see here's the lot. I'm going to switch over to satellite view. Now, it still has it in the construction mode, but you can see what it looks like for this just over 7,000 square foot lot. You have more of a preserve view. There is some water here, so maybe you can see a smidgen of water, but you can clearly tell that the view from this property is nowhere near what it was like for the other property, the resale. So that is a big thing, is that view or lack of it, but it's a private view. Now I'm going to show you the floor plan. And again, I don't know everything that the owner chose, but what we're going to do is just take a quick little look to see what this is like. And I'm more focused on the general floor plan, not, exactly, like I don't know where all the bedrooms were located in the other house. So we come in, we have a foyer over to the side, sort of like a Jack and Jill type bedroom bathroom situation. So it's bedroom, bathroom, bedroom. But then we come in and it's all one major open floor plan. We've got our dining room, great room. And then over here where you see the little grid, that's the kitchen. And usually when you see the grid like that, that means it's a wet area. So they probably, it's going to be tile there. So then you come in, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit better here. Here we go. So we come in entry. So we have dining room space, great room, and then a kitchen with a little breakfast nook. And then over to our right, we've got our den or our office. Now this is kind of neat. I like this with the master bedroom, how you open the door and you come in and then there's a little hallway and then you have access to the bathroom. Looks like we've got 2 closets right here and then the master bedroom. Because sometimes a lot a lot of times that door opens and you look right into the bedroom itself. So there's a little bit more privacy. I like that. Here's the lanai space that comes with the house. Now, all this blue stuff around the edge are structural options that they could have done. Here, outdoor kitchen, pocket sliders, optional pool bath. Let's see, what else do they? Optional wall oven kitchen. Sometimes I'll call that a gourmet kitchen with a lot of the builders. Optional laundry tub. See, there we go. We got our laundry tub right there. This is different elevations. Elevation is what it looks like from the outside, like the different styles, which I can show you on the top half of this. Optional shower versus tub. You could have changed up the bathroom a bit. So all those things are upgrades. And here's our elevations. So this is what it looks like from the outside. Usually one of the elevations are free. It comes with the house. And then if you switch up the elevation, it might cost you $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 more. Because you can see with all the stone, that's probably more money, probably. And then you've got this style and then this one. I like this top one. That's really pretty with the blue. So here we are. So it just kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of the differences between the new construction and resale. So I hope this helps you out by looking at these homes with me. So there we go. New construction versus resale. Now, in the end, we need to focus on what's important to you because this is not a one size fits all type of situation. Even though I say, hey, lots are small with new construction, some people are thrilled with that. They don't want a big lot. They don't want to have to maintain a lot of things. So maybe that's you, or maybe some terms in the contract. That's okay if you think it favors the seller a little bit more or the builder. You know, all of us are so different. And so that's why it's really important for you to work with a knowledgeable agent though that can help pull and draw those things out of you to help figure out what's important to you, what's less important to you, so that we can navigate those waters well and you can make really great decisions for yourself so you don't find yourself in a pickle 3 or 6 months down the road and go, okay, why did I do this? So please know I'm here to help you out and navigate those waters. So reach out to me, give me a call, and maybe you are looking in other areas as well. Orlando, Tampa, St. Pete, Fort Myers, Naples, whatever it is. I've got great agents that I've already referred business to, referred other customers to, maybe when they're not sure where they want to buy and they've had great experiences. So if you're thinking about other areas, let me know. I can connect you with a really good agent in another real estate market. So that's okay. Feel free, reach out, give me a call. I am here to help. All right. Thanks for watching to the end. And if you can hear, my dog is scratching to get outside. I think she sees a lizard. So take care. Have a great day.